Have you ever had a dream that you were being chased or you were running and you were just trying to get away from something? In this dream, you're running and you're running, but you can't outrun whatever it is that's chasing you. You can't get away. The thing behind you is gaining on you. And I don't know about you, but when I have those kinds of dreams, I wake up in a cold sweat. Maybe some of you have had dreams like that before, and maybe some of you are having dreams like that right now. But in today's text, the psalmist says he lies down in green pastures and he's beside still waters. So how do we get from a dream of being chased to lying down in green pastures? How do we get from that kind of fear to the peace of the Lord? Well, let's look at Psalm 23. We'll see how we go from fear to the peace of the Lord as we read Psalm 23, verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That word want in the Hebrew actually means need. It's a very interesting word study because the Lord says here you will not need anything. Have you ever noticed when you're out camping that if you get away from the camp, sooner or later you start to need something? Be it's water, maybe it's food, maybe it's some other supplies. But when you're out there by yourself and you're separated from the camp, pretty soon you realize you need something. But David says here, I shall not need anything because the Lord is my shepherd. What a wonderful thing to know that God is our shepherd. God has us in his pastures. We are under his care. We're under his protection. So therefore, we don't need anything. David goes on in verse 2 and he says, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Now notice the picture here. David is lying down. He's relaxed. He's at ease. There's no danger. There's no one chasing him. There's no lions or bears or any other wild animals trying to attack him. He's just there in a place of peace because the shepherd is with him. Do you ever think of Jesus as your shepherd? Our shepherd isn't some old, wrinkled, bearded guy with a staff who's watching over his sheep. No, our shepherd is Jesus, who laid down his life for us. When Jesus was on earth, he spent time with sheep. Used that as one of his illustrations. He talked about sheep getting lost and the good shepherd going after that sheep. He talked about a shepherd who had 99 sheep and one was lost, and he went after that one until he found it. Jesus is our shepherd, and he wants us to be in the pasture, not to be out chasing rabbits or chasing foxes or chasing some wild dream. He wants us in the pasture where we are safe, where we are secure, where we can rest. Then David says in verse 3, He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When the shepherd finds the lost sheep, what's the first thing he does? He doesn't correct the sheep. He doesn't rebuke the sheep. First, he carries that sheep on his shoulders, rejoicing, happy, and then he brings that sheep back into the fold. That's what Jesus does for us. We all have strayed. We all have been out chasing rabbits and foxes. We've all done things that we shouldn't have done. But when we come back to the shepherd, he welcomes us, carries us when we're weak. He guides us when we're lost, feeds us when we're hungry, and he gives us water when we're thirsty. So many times we feel guilty and we feel ashamed and we think, oh, the shepherd's going to rebuke me. The shepherd's going to punish me. No, the shepherd runs to you and he welcomes you and he rejoices over you and he leads you back into the fold. Once you're there, then he corrects you and he guides you and he teaches you. But the first thing is he welcomes you and he loves you and he restores your soul. What a comfort to know that Jesus is our shepherd. He cares for us. He has us in his pastures. He is guiding us. And even when we stray, he comes after us to bring us back to the fold.